Good morning, fine folks. As you probably remember, I am Abby Road Rage Schneider with my dearest dear Claire Bacon, aka Slutty the Clown, for those in the know, and our
Good morning, good
very,
afternoon.
very special guest, Adam Backus of what is your claim
Yay!
to fame? He has so many Facebook
Jeez.
groups. He's Mr. Popular, and he took the
Yeah,
time
that's me.
to be with us today, which is amazing. We love having
Yeah, we're
special
very
guests.
privileged.
Oh
And
no,
today
honors of mine.
we get to do 3 whole episodes. Adam, was this your first foray into like really sitting and watching the episodes? I don't think you were necessarily a fan before. Am I correct?
No, I was basically dropped in the middle of the story without knowing what was going on. I was able
Yeah,
to.
you got to go back and watch the beginning. But these were some interesting episodes for you to kick
Well,
off on, which we've explained in the past. Buffy, they either have their Monster of the Week
mhm,
episodes or you have the long run, and you're sort of smack dab in the middle of both. We're
Yeah.
beginning a
yeah,
very nice
I
long
could
run
tell.
with some new characters, but
Oh,
also we
yeah.
have our good Monster of the Weeks. To begin, we're going to start with Inca Mummy Girl, which, what is it that you call her? The
Yeah,
Latina sucker.
The Latina sucker.
the
Yeah.
Latina sucker.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Basically, just to give you our brief rundown, the kids, the Scoobies, they're on a field trip to the local museum. And there's always that one student that's just kind of like a total, dirt bag. And he ends up breaking the ceramic seal in the coffin of the Inca mummy that they're there to see. Um, and honestly, at the same time, they have this cultural exchange student program going on. So Buffy is told that she has an exchange student, a boy by the name of Mpata coming.
I'm
Um,
glad you could say
so
that because I couldn't. I
she's
tried.
she is coming to pick him up after their trip to the museum, and the weirdo student Rodney Munson, who's always in trouble, and of course Willow's got a kind heart for and always helps him
Yeah.
out with his studies, but he breaks this plate, which is it's a seal, and it's a protective curse inside the coffin, and she then rises and gives him such a smooch,
Very smoochy.
which instantly mummifies him and brings her back to life. Um, so this all happens unbeknownst to everybody. They go on with their day. Buffy decides she needs to go pick up Empata. She is now late, as always. Xander, as always, is jealous because she's got a male foreign exchange student coming to stay in her house and eat her food and sleep in her room, whatever.
How dare he?
When she gets to pick up, we see Empata, this poor South American boy, like getting off the bus all bright and shiny and new. And he hears someone calling his name, which he thinks is Buffy, and turns out is Latina Sucker herself, Inca
Latina
Mummy
sucker
Girl.
herself. Oh, Clint Myers
And
says Mr. Tubed Meat himself.
tubed meat. That's what I was
Tube-
trying to think of a really
feel like
classy way
tube
to
meat.
say, but
I feel like tube meat this morning. That's for sure.
It's a nice handle to go by.
to feel a little bit like a tube meat. So poor Empata on his first minutes within Sunnydale gets mummified, and when Buffy finds Empata, it is now a beautiful young woman who says that she is Empata, and takes his identity and Xander, because 16-year-old boy or 15-year-old boy is
No.
instantly hormonal and extremely attracted to her.
As she would be. She's a very pretty girl.
Very pretty girl, and he instantly volunteers to be her guide throughout Sunnydale, teach her all she needs to know. Cordelia also has an exchange student named Sven, who's like
Which is
19 feet
great.
tall, and she treats him as only Cordelia can.
Yeah.
loudly ending everything in an O and snapping.
Yeah,
And,
lots of
'cause if you
snapping,
speak
lots of
louder
cum.
to people, they understand English. So we do, which is very exciting. So Cordelia has Sven, but she's clearly got a thing for, what's his name, Devin, the
Devon.
singer of Dingoes Ate My Baby, which is the local famous local band that plays at the Bronze.
Yeah.
And we finally get to meet Oz, who is one of our favorite characters,
Ugh.
and probably Adam's first time meeting Oz, Seth Green, who
Yep.
we know and love. And you could
Yeah,
tell
absolute great
instantly,
entrance.
oh, he's so good. And Devin is the lead singer that gets all the girls and treats them all like crap, and all
Yeah,
Oz
it's a bit
wants
of a
to
perv,
find.
let's be honest.
Yeah, and Oz just wants to find a nice girl. We're gonna have to put a fan on here because I am warm as always. And honestly, last week we got to meet Spike for the first time in Drusilla, and now we get to meet Oz. And this is some of my favorite parts of the show because they are probably three of my favorite characters to ever walk.
Yeah,
Wow, they
definitely. I mean,
introduced
it's a bit
Spike
strange
that
for
late in the
Adam
show.
coming in at this point with
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
kind
What
of
were you
good
saying,
he's been
Adam?
dropped in the midden.
Yeah,
I
just sort of, here you go.
knowing nothing about this show and just being kind of dropped in the middle of it, I didn't realize that they introduced Spike so late in the
Yes, he just came
in the
in last
mythology.
week
Just-
and made quite a splash. And we might have to
Yeah,
have you
absolutely.
as homework go back and watch the other episodes just to see where the transition happens. So we end up back at the library as we tend to do. And well, actually, I guess what happens is they notice that Rodney is missing. His parents have reported him missing. So they decide the last place they saw them at the museum. So they go back. What kills me about this show is multiple times in this episode, they're at this museum like in the middle of the night. Same thing with the zoo episode and the hyenas. Like somehow
there was no one there to stop them. There was no security.
there to stop them. They can go in and search the mummy exhibit all on their own. But one thing that Willow does notice when they're looking for the missing student is the mummy now has braces, which they find very interesting. So, you know who else had braces? Rodney Munson.
Yeah.
So they
Suspicious.
find pieces of the broken seal and they take them back for Giles to try to translate with his enormous squishy frontal lobes. And Empata comes into the library and Giles asks her, because she's from South America, obviously, could she translate the seal? And she actively lies about what it says. Also, I think I'm missing something. I remember Xander was flirting with a Twinkie and Empata, like he is laying it on thick. And I gotta be honest, he's doing a great job. He's winning her over. And
he's
also
making a laugh,
Didn't you recently have a Twinkie for the first time? Wasn't that one of your have you had an American Twinkie or no?
I've got one. I haven't had it yet.
It's got to be
I
a big.
have my American box ready to review, which I still haven't got into, but it's all sat there.
Yeah,
you have to live stream when you eat it for the first time.
That's what she wants to do, like a box.
I think that's kind of what I'm going to do, yeah.
Which would be amazing, because when you're a kid, Twinkies are the greatest thing in the world. As an adult, I got to be honest. I keep saying, oh, I think they changed the recipe, but I have a feeling it's just that, it's like Peter Pan. So when you get to a certain age, you're like, something about chewing on sugar isn't the same. But Xander flirting with a Twinkie. Willow does come to the realization that Xander's never gonna love her, because before
I'm fuzzy on the name Xander. He's the poor man's Brandon Walsh in this show, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
he's the best friend. His name is Alexander Harris.
Friend zoned with everyone. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. So, but Willow,
he's the nice guy.
Willow and Xander have been best friends since childhood.
Yes.
Willow is deeply in love with Xander.
From being 5 years old.
Yeah, Xander is in love with every other girl but Willow because Willow
Yes.
is friend zoned to him. Now, what I like about Xander is his name is really Alexander, and he doesn't go by Alex, he goes by Xander, and that's a little spoiler for a later episode.
Clint seems interested in Xander and the Twinkie. We won't correct his
Yes.
spelling at this point, but it's an X.
It's Xander, but so
You're not a
Xander
true Buffy
is-
fan. It's an X, not a Z.
it's an X.
You imposter.
Xander is doing his flirty and explaining to her the Twinkie goodness in life and how to eat it and his way of eating it. And I think when Claire does her unboxing, maybe we'll have to show her.
Put
But
the
he
whole
takes the
thing in his
Twinkie
mouth in one
and
go.
shoves the entire Twinkie in his mouth.
I
to
could
eat
give it a
That's
go.
How you do it? Yeah, you
I'll
can give it a go.
try.
And Pata tries it as well. It's adorable. It's reminiscent of the ice cream on the nose, cutesy food.
Yeah,
flirting.
it's very cute.
And Pata tries to get them to destroy the seal, and nobody kind of thinks it's weird yet. But when
We also have the guy running around with the big knife, don't forget.
yeah, so there is
The Guardian
a
or
warrior,
Whatever,
and
which
help me
she's
out.
lied about and kind of made out to be an assassin. But we find out that's not true, obviously.
I think she tells them he's the mummy's protector, as
But at this
opposed to
point-
protecting the world from her.
Yes.
And so this warrior's lurking around, and but not for long because the mummy has to kiss him. So now she needs more and more life force to keep her going. So she takes that poor warrior and mummifies the heck out of him. She's
Yep.
just giving it to everybody, I suppose. At
She's
this
Latina
point,
sucking everywhere.
yeah, really, it's just mummies left to the right of me. Giles has now managed to decipher the pictograms on the seal and realizes that Mpata lied. I don't, and this is the part that's weird. I mean, you're asking someone to translate a very old seal. I don't know that my first impulse would have been that she lied, but that maybe it was something she couldn't translate. But again, if that's where she's from, it should be maybe second language for her first. So we determine at this point, Buffy's decided not to go to the dance. Xander was trying to get Buffy to go. Basically, he didn't want to go with Willow as a date. He wanted to go buddy, but instead Buffy backs out and he takes Mpata as a date. And she's in her glory, actually. I sort of feel a little bad for her. You know, you expect the monsters to all be super evil. And
yeah, she just seems like, well, let's face it, she was sacrificed, and that's why
She
she's in
was
this
a
position.
15 or 16-year-old girl that was led to sacrifice to save her people. And
Yes.
that was her lot in life, and she had no choice. So I mean, it is a little sad when you think about her and Buffy as parallels of both being the
I was just
same
about to
age.
say there's a mirror between the two, being, you know, the chosen one as such.
And then so we are at the dance, and you know Mpata wants to kiss Xander, but she also genuinely has feelings for him. So I don't think she wants to suck the life right out of him yet. We do get to hear A Dingo Ate My Baby play, which is amazing.
Eskimo Willow is beautiful. They make her so beautiful in these episodes coming up with those.
When
You know,
I
they've
watched
changed
this-
was
the whole
something that
thing.
confused Adam and Ryan originally, was that it was a come as your favorite.
I was like, why is everyone dressed up like Eskimos? And then it was like,
come
oh,
as
it
your
was just
favorite
Willow. Okay.
nationality
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the theme of the dance. So Mpata is dressed as a princess, and Willow is dressed as an Eskimo, which is just 100% Willow.
Yes.
Oz does see her dressed as a Willow, and we get a lot of thank you,
We
Claire,
start
for
the
your
who is
for
that
your
girl
preview
thing, which follows on for these whole 3 episodes we're talking about.
Who's that girl? Who's that girl? We do get to see Jonathan for the first time, which is
The
interesting.
first
So
appearance of Jonathan.
Jonathan will come up later in many episodes. Adam, hopefully you're around to see that. He's not a great character, but yet
I
manages
feel
to
these
become one of the greatest
episodes are very
supervillains.
story laying for the future.
Yeah, he's just this guy that does anything in life to be popular. But We do find out that Sven actually speaks English and hates.
Yeah, pretty well. He's just been ignoring Cordelia, which is quite fun.
And then I guess she tries at this point. Xander interrupts her trying to kiss Jonathan, and then she kisses Xander and starts to kind of steal his life force, but stops because she really does have feelings for him. And as we know from Willow from last week, love makes you do the wacky.
When she starts sucking everybody off, well, not sucking,
sucking
their life,
which is a problem in a new relationship when your girl's trying to, Oz adorably tries to talk to Willow for the first of many times, and she doesn't have any idea. And Giles is back at the museum. Like, no problem. He's just gonna break back into the museum and trying to put the seal back together when Empata shows up, grabs it, and smashes it into a bajillion pieces. Buffy shows up, fight ensues, but Empata grabs Willow and threatens to kill her. And Xander basically says, you have to take me. Like, if you love me, you have to take me instead. And she does. And then Xander pulls her off him, and then her arms come off because she didn't complete it. Because and then she is
the arms just dead again. I kind of love that in one full go.
Zombie. So tell me, guys, now that I've given a not so brief rundown on everything, what are your thoughts, feelings, and impressions of Inca Mummy Girl and the trials and tribulations of the Scoobies?
I'm interested to know what Adam thought, as being someone who's kind of new to this.
To it. Was this excuse me, was this your first ever Buffy episode, or?
I think it was.
Yeah. I'm proud you did that for us.
Although I feel like there should have been better ones for him to start with, but it's okay.
No, I mean, I wasn't. It wasn't too. A comparison, like when I was watching this, it kind of felt like I was almost like kind of like you said earlier. It was kind of like the monster episodes of like the X-Files.
Yes,
so the monster of the week. Yeah, definitely. They have that vibe.
I didn't feel totally lost because they kind of felt like. Where I guess some of the overarching story was in there, they kind of felt like standalone episodes in a way.
Yes, I think that's very good about Buffy. Definitely, that they do that a lot.
Yeah, so it's like, once you kind of like get a grasp of who the characters are and how they fit in the world, I didn't feel quite so lost. And it was pretty easy to follow. I enjoyed the episode. I thought. I liked how they, how creative they are, coming up with these new creatures for Buffy to face off with. Like, how many seasons of the show? So she's not going to fight like vampires in every single one. So
no,
pretty creative.
We go everywhere.
We find out at the beginning of the season or last season that Sunnydale resides on a hellmouth.
Yeah.
So not only are there vampires, but every other demon and form of thing that crawls the earth is going to just happen there. And I feel like Adam should watch Teacher's Pet at some point because I think he would like that episode of the Monster of the Week. So what else we got going on, people? What do you think?
I mean, for me, I think the humor starts to shine through definitely in these 3 episodes. I mean, we've had the quick wit coming up in the first season and in the start of this season, but definitely some of the quips in these 3 episodes, especially this first one in Inky Mama Girl. I mean, there's some great stuff, I mean, there's the whole bit where she's trying to kind of there's Willow sat there. She's dying inside, she's always been in love with Xander, but I kind of love when they bring Oz into it. She kind of has this new kind of air about her, they've got her in the cute little dungarees, in the coveralls, with like the little shirts and the matching hats and, the little Eskimo thing. It's just also... She's
not embraced her sexuality as of yet in any form.
No, but she's
still
cute and she's becoming noticed and blossoming, and the whole thing with Xander at the end as well, when he, you've got to take me, you know, that's not happening. It's very much, it kind of reinforces their relationship, you know, of how close they are as friends, no matter of the fact that he's not in love with her.
Right. And I know she, you know, she even says it out loud. He will love everybody else and he will never love me in that way.
Yeah.
And I think her accepting it opens her up to other things in the next couple episodes, which is nice. I like the way her and Oz are always dancing around each other, kind
Yeah.
of seeing each other here and seeing each other there. And
Yeah, it's a great start to that little
yeah, the
kind
stark
of
difference between Cordelia and Willow in Oz's
yes.
eye in the next couple episodes of the groupie type that are always after the band, and Willow, who's just Willow and doesn't.
Yeah, she's just been a little self. I mean, the sort of introduction as well. Things like when they're talking about, you know, Cordelia being gorgeous and all that, and he kind of goes, "Yeah, she's a Wonderland tour," and it's kind of it's the diss, you know, that's the diss of it's very fake and it's all shiny on the outside, but there's no depth, you know. I kind of got that from it. I kind of tried to see if it was a quote from. I feel it's like from an album of some description. I don't quite know where, but that it's such a dish, you know. Oh yeah, she's a Wonderland tour. You know, it's all fake. I get that from that kind of thing.
Sounds like a John Mayer song.
Yeah, no,
it does, but it's too late for it. This is the thing. John Mayer came along sort of time after with that song, but I feel it's very much a diss about she's all fake and it's very surface and there's nothing there, you know.
Don't you scratch that couch? Kill you. Sorry.
Should I quickly get the music out of the way for this one?
I think we should, yeah, because I don't know that we have that much to say about this episode.
No. I mean, it is a monster of the week. There isn't that much on this one, really. I don't think. So of course we've got Dingo's It My Baby. If anyone's not aware, it is actually a real band called 4-Star Mary. But they literally brought in 4 actors, including Seth Green, to play this band on stage as the local
They don't
band.
fake the guitar very well, but that's
no, and the singing's kind of out of sync in a lot of the places I did notice. But it's great, you know, it's a great concept. But yeah, that's 4-Star Mary, and they are still performing now, 4-Star Mary, and covering those songs that they did in that. And the songs are When the First Dancing at the beginning is called Fate by them. And then when Xander and the Inca Girl are dancing, it's called Shadows by them. And they will be all available on everywhere. And I'll put the links underneath afterwards as usual.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yep, and I think that's that for that one.
Anything else you want to add for Inca Mummy Girl that you can think of?
Let's see. No. I guess that pretty much covers my thoughts on the matter.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a very throwaway episode, I feel, in some ways.
You know, a lot of these Monsters of the Week episodes are just, you know, you can quickly talk about them. I apologize for jumping all over the place. Since I got my hair dyed, I'm trying not to dye my mother's couch and or chairs blue as I did her couch. Don't ask.
Yeah.
But the next episode that we are going to cover today is called Reptile Boy. And again, another Monster of the Week. This one starts out really cute. Xander, Willow, and Buffy watching a movie together. Bollywood night is what I think we should have more of. And they're both braiding Willow's hair as she's sitting there. And it's just a sweet,
cute
bonding moment of them trying to work on their relationship after the last couple of weeks of things. And then we cut to a girl jumping out of a window of a mansion and being chased by hooded men, which always seems to happen.
Yeah, it's a theme.
Runs through the cemetery and you're still like, oh, it's gonna be vampires. What's gonna happen? And she is caught by looks like a bunch of frat bros in hoods, and she gets dragged away. And we cut back to Buffy just swooning over Angel and how, oh, she loves him so much, and blah, blah, blah. And one of my my favorite discussions of her and Willow of just trying to see how they could make this work with a vampire slayer and a vampire. And he's 200 and something years old, and he keeps treating her like she's a kid. And Willow's like, you could ask him for a cup of coffee sometime. It's a non-relationship beverage of choice, which I like.
Yeah.
It's not a date. It's a caffeinated beverage. Everybody's kind of giving her shit. Giles wants her to crack down. She's dawdling too much. She's got to focus. And I think everyone around her is just getting very needy. Everybody needs her to do something. And I think more and more she's feeling pulled apart. She just wants to be a teenager. We've had this come up many times before. She didn't ask for this. She's not prepared for this.
No.
Cordelia's college crush, Richard Anderson, played by Craig Vaughn, shows up on campus with another bro who only has eyes for Buffy.
Tom, I think his name
Tom Warner. His real name is Todd Babcock. He plays, so Richard is the slimy bro, and Tom is the nice guy. I'm sorry, my friend's such an idiot.
Yeah, the nice best friend.
Yes. And basically Cordelia comes back and says, I got invited to this party, but there's like a numbers thing, and the guys say I have to bring you. So you have to come or I can't go, and you owe me for, saving my life so many times and such. So Cordelia somehow manages to convince Buffy to come with her to this frat party. And I think that's mostly because she's pissed at Giles and she's pissed at Angel, and she just wants to have a little fun. And she thinks, maybe her and Angel have a chance, but he's basically like, I'm too old for you. I'm a vampire. This is not going to work. So she decides to go to a frat party and accept a drink from somebody and this is a lesson for anybody out there. Never take a drink at a party that you did not make yourself. That's all I'm going to say.
And again, Buffy, with the moral tale and themes that we do get in a lot of Buffy episodes, there's always a hidden message quite often in these, which is, it's good that it was there at that time and it was happening in TV then. Because even now.
Yes, because people don't always think about that. And that was happening a lot when I was in my 20s, where there was a bar we used to go to and they said, don't put your drink down. Don't walk away. But Buffy flat out lies to Giles why she can't patrol. She uses the excuse of her sick mother and she's not feeling well. And Willow's eyes are like, Willow does not approve of Buffy lying to Giles. To sneak out and go to a frat party, like this is... all of the red flags are popping up. But Buffy does this. She goes to this party. She dances with Tom. She accepts a drink. And soon we realize that Buffy has been drugged. She decides to she's feeling woozy. She goes upstairs and she falls asleep in a random bed upstairs. We see gross Richard come in and see she's passed out, and what he's got on his mind. He starts, and then Tom comes in and is like, oh, that's not what's happening. It's not for you.
Like, I'm going to save the day.
Yeah, so it's like frying pan fire. So, okay, you're not going to get date raped by some creepo while you're passed out, but we're going to have to sacrifice you. Sorry about your luck. So the camera pans over and we see Cordelia's passed out on the bed next to Buffy. And we realize that sinister things are afoot. And like I said, Willow does not approve. Her world is askew. Buffy lied to Giles. Once she determines that there is a connection between the fraternity and the local girls that are missing, Willow has to tell Angel and Giles that Buffy is at the frat party. So Xander heads out on his own, as Xander does, to go protect Buffy and Cordelia. Somehow, however, we see that they have realized that Xander is not one of them and dressed him in a bra and panties and a wig and is making him dance while they spank him, which is really inappropriate. But
it is very inappropriate. But yeah.
So then, excuse me, Willow then tells off Angel and Giles, which is one of my favorite moments of the episode.
It's a great scene.
You're putting too much pressure on her. You're all making her crazy, and you're gonna live forever. You don't have time for a cup of coffee. Like,
And
come
it's so
on.
great because Willow's so scared of her own shadow. It's a
Right.
total outburst that you'd never seen from her before. She's like, "No, this isn't right."
She
She's
changes
proper
so
girl
much.
though. It's good.
Yes, it's amazing, and I love that. She grows in every episode a little bit more, and I
Yes.
don't think it's because of Oz. I think Oz is because of her growth. I don't know if she would
Yes.
have been. So Xander's being humiliated. He gets kind of thrown out of the party, and he realizes that Cordy's car is still there, and they're still inside. Excuse me while I beat my cat.
So what?
Sorry about that. This is a different one that I'm usually beating up during our episodes. So we come to, there's like a basement of the frat house mansion place, and it's like a cave basement, and they have the ladies chained up downstairs. And then we see the first girl that they had kidnapped also down there, and she's telling them, it's bad, you're not going to like this. And what's his name? Tom decides that Buffy should be last. Like, that's, and Cordelia's like, last, well, who's first? Who's first? And basically we see a giant reptile lizard. It's really a fun makeup, I think.
Yeah, it's a fun monster of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is Makita, I believe, and he has like a humanoid upper body and then a long serpentine tail for a lower body. We don't see all of it because the bottom of him still remains in the giant
The top
chasm,
kind of
which
reminded me of like Adam. What does it remind you of? The top part of it. You'll know better than me.
Well, I think either Medusa from the original Clash of the Titans.
There was a movie called, I mean, it's just pronounced, I guess,
yes,
from
I've seen that movie with
from like
I love that.
A-Team guy, Faceman from the A-Team.
like 1973.
Dirk Benedict.
I've definitely seen something like it before that
Wasn't
looks
that
similar.
Dirk Benedict? I feel like he was in that movie.
Yeah,
Faceman?
from A-Team. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got like the body cover with the yellowish green scales, and his arms are webbed to his torso, and he has claws, and basically, a lot of screaming. Cordelia's got a good scream.
She has got a good scream.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Buffy breaks out of her chains, as Buffy does, kicks Tom's butt, which I like, and chops the monster in half with the frat boy's sword. So that's fun. And monster is vanquished. Buffy and Giles have a nice moment at the end of this where he understands that maybe he's putting too much pressure on her and he'll do his best. But it was really like a nice moment. And then at the end, we see Jonathan again. He's bringing Cordelia her muffin and her coffee because she's found someone else to.
Yeah, she's found
so again, it's just a second sighting of Jonathan from somebody that becomes more of a major character.
Very prolific.
For better or for worse. And we find out that the bones in the cavern date back more than 50 years. And since they have vanquished the monster, all of a sudden, all the frat boys, fame and fortune, and all of the people that belong to their frat, the curse is broken, and they start failing, and their businesses start failing, and it's sweet because then Angel asked Buffy for coffee, which I thought was a nice, because it is a non-relationship caffeinated beverage. Which
Can a vampire drink coffee?
You talk amongst yourselves.
Can a vampire drink coffee in this world?
Not particularly, but
well, they can, but it doesn't do anything. It's just liquid.
So in some movies, they would actually like throw up from
or
it,
like get sick.
Be sick. Yeah, I don't think that happens here. They don't have a need for it, but it doesn't taste like anything to them. So it's more just
so they can consume it. It just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but we don't see any, vomity vampires or anything. So again, another standalone fun episode. I love a good douche frat boy getting beat up, like in general.
Yeah, don't we all?
What do you think about this one, sir?
I thought it was a really cool, monster standalone episode, and Yeah, I thought the cult um, fraternity storyline was pretty good. Um, and one I don't know, like the dynamic between some of the characters was pretty good. One line of dialogue that I wanted to highlight though, because like you had said that there was the one fraternity member who was kind of like the bad cop, and the other one who
Yes.
was like the good cop. And it was like in the beginning when they were first like coming up to the high school, trying to get these like
High
I
school
don't know, like
girls to go to a
like the
party.
high school girls to like yeah, like interested in them or whatever. And the one guy like he's hitting on them pretty hardcore, but Buffy's like turning them down pretty strongly, and he's like, "Stop playing hard to get." And then his friend comes up and grabs him by the arm. He's like, "No, she's not playing hard to get. You're playing easy to resist."
Ah.
And
Yeah. Nice.
my eyes rolled into the back of my head so hard,
Yep.
I almost gave myself a concussion. I was just like that. I was like, I was like, where did that come from?
I think
Uh,
they make it very easy to know who we're supposed to love and who,
Yeah, there's very clear lines about who's the bad guy and who's the good guy.
yeah. But anyway, overall thoughts. I thought it was like you said, as for a standalone little monster creature episode, it was really good. And the payoff, like the thing with these standalone, like with the X Files, is my only sort of experience
Yeah,
with these.
definitely very similar. Yeah.
If the monster isn't quality, then you don't get like there's no payoff, and the
Yeah.
Machida monster is like top notch.
That was a
It's like
good makeup.
it's like a
Yeah, it is.
Harryhausen Medusa
Definitely.
type of a thing almost.
Yeah.
It's
Or
really
it
cool.
also, what was the other thing it reminded me of? It just went right out of my head. But Medusa was one of them. The old, oh my gosh, it literally, it's right out of my head. It's gone. Sorry. It'll come back later and I'll just scream some random movie in your face. And you'll
That's
be like,
fine.
oh, all right.
We allow our screaming, don't we, every week for both of us?
Just sort of randomly shout out or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just a fun episode. And,
It is a
and I
very
agree
fun
with you, Adam.
episode.
If the monster looks good, you're definitely willing to suspend.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
They
have good makeup
like a
in it.
monster that was going to come out that was going to be like, whoa, like that.
Not like Anaconda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CGI.
Yeah, it is a good creature, and its makeup's not. We have some issues later on with some bad CGI, but that is because of the time period it was done as well.
When everybody
But
was
for
doing
an
it.
actual physical creature feature, it's good this week. It's a good one.
Yeah, I agree.
Shall I quickly get the music out before we move on?
Yes, please.
This week we had 2 songs that were during the frat party. We had the first one, which was Bring Me On by Act of Faith. And then second, we had She by Lewis's Dance. Now, there was a piece of music right at the end. There's no credit for it. Don't know where it came from. Don't know where the song was from. I looked everywhere. It was only a tiny little clip. That's maybe why it's not credited. But that was just like as it was fading out, to black at the end of the episode. But yeah, so we've got Bring Me On, Act of Faith, and She by Louis Says Dance. And of course, all the links will be under this episode afterwards.
Excellent. So that is episode number 2 of our 3 for the day, which brings us to one of my favorite, not necessarily my favorite
episode,
but I love Halloween. Well, I love Halloween. We could just end the sentence there, but I love any Halloween episode of any show anywhere is probably going to be my. Buffy has a lot. What are there, 7 seasons? So
yes.
There
wasn't one in the first season, but I think there's 2 Halloween in one of the seasons.
Oh, okay. Because I don't think I remember one in the first.
No, there wasn't in the first.
What we do find out is Halloween is the one night of the year where vampires actually lay low. Like it's gauche for them to go out. They're just like, pfft. So a new costume store opens up, Ethan's costume shop, and all of Sunnydale is going to buy their costumes there because, fantastic. Ethan Rain, played by Robin Sachs.
Amazing.
In the meanwhile, Buffy has come across a journal or in Giles' books about Angel. We want to know, what kind of girl did he like? So you're looking at the drawings of the time period of a beautiful woman in the gown, very coiffed, and the exact quote unquote opposite of Buffy. And she goes, well, that's who he liked when he was 16 years old. So obviously I need to try to be more like that. And she
Adam thinks everybody in England looks like.
No, it's not true.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm going to break your religion.
You're not wearing
right
a corset.
I'm afraid
there's
that's
a
not for a
shattering
few
of all
years
of my
anyway.
dreams. So Buffy dresses. She finds this noble woman's beautiful gown, and realizes she can't afford it. But the shop owner's like, "You need to have this dress. We're going to work that out so you get this dress." Xander comes up with a little plastic gun. He's like, "I got fatigues at home. I'm going to be a soldier. We're good." And Willow buys a ghost costume, a big sheet that says "Boo." And they go back to Buffy's house, and Buffy dresses Willow up. Basically, she says Halloween is a come as you aren't evening. So you know what? Break out of your little cocoon there, and dresses her in a little sexy outfit, a little sexy skinny Willow.
Willow like that.
And then Xander shows up, and when Willow comes downstairs, she's chickened out and she's put the ghost costume over her sexy little outfit. And
I didn't like that, by the way.
You didn't like what?
Well, I didn't like that. What was her costume supposed to be?
Well,
just sexy girl.
Underneath, she just was go as a sexy girl, but
yeah,
that's what Buffy thought she should do. But she wanted to go as a ghost, so her costume was a ghost. We end up back at, Cordelia still has the hots for Devin, and Devin is still blowing Cordelia off. She comes up and is basically telling Oz, where's your lead singer who thinks he's too good for, blah, blah, blah. And Oz is like, yeah, we just call him Devin these days. Like, it's and they have this whole awkward, tell him I said, never mind, don't even tell him I was here. She's like, so what am I telling him? She's like, duh, nothing, because he's the idiot. So I guess Buffy was supposed to meet Angel at the Bronze and got stuck slaying, as one slayer does. Shows up with leaves in her hair and completely disheveled. Cordelia, being the wonderful girl she is keeping Angel occupied while Buffy is late because, as we know, Cordelia she's like a dog in heat sometimes. Buffy comes in, sees them sitting and talking, gets jealous, turns to leave. Angel goes after her. Yada, yada, yada. In school, Principal Snyder, who Adam has not really had the pleasure of meeting in past episodes. Their first, I don't want to give too much away, but it's season 1. The first principal gets eaten.
I'm pretty sure he'll recognize who Principal Snyder is from other things.
Yeah, he's Armand.
We do this every week, and now we've both forgotten his last name.
But he's great. He was on one of the Star Treks too. He played Quark, I think. But great actor, total son of a bitch in this show. And basically, because he has labeled Buffy as trouble from day one, he determines that she must take a group of kids trick-or-treating, as well as Xander and Willow, because they need to do this. Otherwise, mandatory, as he does, mandatory volunteering. So in this time at school, we meet Larry, the douche canoe, who basically just, the total jock. Larry, who gets in Xander's space and tortures him. And Xander is going to basically stand up to him, but knows he's going to get pummeled. And as he's about to pummel Xander, Buffy steps in and saves him, which, much to Xander's chagrin of being a 15 or 16-year-old boy, being saved by a girl, especially a girl that you have the hots for. So in essence, emasculates him, and he is just beside himself. we do, just a little bit of a spoiler for later, we find out why Larry is such a douche canoe later on in
Yeah,
episodes.
Larry's
Because
excuse me.
Larry is closeted.
Excuse me.
He needs
Sorry.
to react by beating up people instead of admitting that he's gay. But we'll
He
find
has
that out
issues he
later.
needs to work out.
Yeah. So basically, this is where Buffy and Willow break into Giles' office, where Buffy awkwardly keeps Giles contained while Willow sneaks in and steals the diary.
Such a great room, sir.
It's
Miss
adorable.
Calendar said you're a babe. How perfect is that? He's totally lost and
babe.
distracted then. Really?
Have we didn't see Miss Calendar in any of these yet, Adam? I think
No,
you're right.
Adam hasn't seen Miss Calendar. I shall send him a picture
She's-
so you can see why he's doing that.
She's a hot computer teacher, and Giles is Mr. Stuffy librarian, and we find out that Miss Calendar is a techno-pagan, so she's a witch that deals with computers.
Yeah.
So they have a great little relationship where he is stuffy and so on, and she's young and hot and adorable.
She's beautiful.
So I think you'll like her. So then they find out Angel must like all these girls like this, so they take the kids out trick-or-treating. But before this, Buffy does tell Cordelia that Angel is a vampire. And Cordelia
She's like, yeah, sure, yeah.
Because I don't think she believes even in vampires yet. She's seen enough where she's so previous to this, like before this episode, Cordelia did not hang out with them at all. All she did was pick on them and torture them.
She still hates them, really.
She just got her life saved so many times that she's sort of gravitating towards them in a weirdness. But again, Cordelia does not believe her. Willow does make a cute comment where, Buffy's like, go wild. And she's like, no, wild on me equals spaz. And I understand that more than most people can know, because wild on me equals spaz. So anyway, as they take the kids trick-or-treating, Willow's with a group of kids. She takes little Yoda and little Demon to the house. The lady runs out of candy. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Next thing, she looks at the kids. They have transformed into tiny little demons, not just kids in costumes, and attack the lady. And Willow's like, what? And then all of a sudden, Willow's choking. She can't breathe. And she dies. And then gets up as a ghost because she is now her costume. Although nobody can figure out that what she comes out with outside of the sheet is actually considered a ghost still. But because I remember... Giles says something to her like,
the ghost of
what's
what?
your costume? She's like, I'm a ghost. And she's like, you should see Cordelia. She had ears and whiskers,
and spandex outfit and everything.
She became an actual feline. She's like, no. But then she realizes that Cordelia mentions that she got her costume at Party Town. And everybody else got their costume at this new shop.
Ethan's,
Giles goes to see the new shop owner, Ethan Rain, who has invoked the Roman god Janus so that everyone becomes their costume. He does a spell. We realize, however, that, oh my God, Buffy is now a 17th century noble woman who is faints at the sight of blood, is terrified of everything. Exactly the opposite of Buffy. She sees a car and she thinks it's a demon and freaks out. Is she insane? And then Willow says, couldn't she have dressed up like Xena? Which, of course.
Which was a great line.
That's funny.
So we find out that Giles and Ethan go way back to either university days or high school days.
It's great. It's the first time we've heard him being called Ripper. And it's such a revelation. It's like, what? Who?
Because you see Giles is a stuffy librarian, and you start to realize that he has a bit of a past as well, and he was kind of a bad boy back in his day. So I do love that. So Xander's now the soldier, and taking it for Buffy. He listens to Willow, and Buffy's like, you're taking orders from a woman? Are you feeble? It's just, which I think is cute. But then we see Larry again, who was dressed up as a pirate, who's now turned into a real pirate, and Xander beats him up and then can't figure out the feeling of satisfaction that came along with punching Larry out. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Giles confronts Ethan. You realize Giles has a checkered past. He knocks Ethan out, and we cut to Spike, who normally the vampires stay home on Halloween, but since we realize that everybody has become weakened. You want to say something, Mr.
Well,
Adam?
do they do that just because they think it's cheesy to be vampires on Halloween? Like they think it's corny, it's beneath
Yeah,
them?
it's very uncool in the Buffyverse.
That's funny.
Very uncool.
It's they're
it's beneath them to go out on Halloween. It's like
that's really
crass.
funny.
But once they realize there's a new player in town, as Drusilla says, Spike decides, you've got a Slayer out there who is now weak as a kitten. So he is he and his little band of child demons,
which are ridiculous but fun.
Yeah, so Willow's like telling Xander, you can't shoot them. These are children. Xander doesn't understand. He's a soldier. He sees demons. He's like, no shooting, no shooting. So he's learning to beat them up with the butt of the gun. Giles finally figures out from Ethan, after beating him to a pulp, he has to break the statue. So he smashes the statue of Janus, and the spell is broken just as Spike is about to feed on Buffy. And I do love that when he comes up, he just comes up with the wig now. And she goes, hi, honey, I'm home. And then
it's such a great Buffy line of, I'm going to kick your ass.
I just had to kick a cat's ass too. I don't know what her problem is. So that's like an adorable moment. And as Willow is trying to find her way back, Oz yet again sees Willow in the distance. Who is that girl? And just
it's such a great thread in these 3 episodes.
Angel and Buffy have a nice, like, I didn't love those women. They were boring. We had no other choice. Like, you're the one I want. Little smoochies, cute moment.
Lots of smooching.
Ethan, Giles does return back to Ethan's store the next morning to confront him, and finds out that everything's gone. All the stuff is gone. He skipped town, but he did leave him a note that just says, be seeing you, which, I enjoy. Ethan is a good character for later. And when we go back to seeing Giles's past and again, the stuffy library.
Yeah. There should have been an offshoot series. There should have been a Ripper series, let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been awesome.
A younger actor who was similar to play the bits that we find out later. That should have been done. I do feel there's a shame with that.
And all of the Halloween episodes, this might even be my least favorite of their Halloween episodes. It's I just find that they do Halloween really well on the show.
They do. I actually think this is one of my favorites, but I do think it's very much because of the subtle kind of Oz bit, at the end. I think for me,
100%.
Willow's development, as I say, I think on her own, as you say, not because of Oz, but Oz comes to her because of it.
When she changes, all of a sudden her universe opens up more, and these people that maybe would never have noticed her before notice her. And she's a fascinating character, and she has, as we know, and Adam does not know yet, one of the largest character arcs of
She has the biggest arc, I think, in the entire
set to start out as this geeky little kid and to turn into one of the most powerful witches in the entire world is like a big arc from season 1 to the end. She has a lot.
What happens to Willow?
Oh yeah, Willow.
We will fill you in, not on here, because we don't really want to do spoilers for people who are watching it for the first time.
In the next couple seasons, Willow becomes the biggest of the baddest, and it's pretty impressive.
Oh no, we haven't told you the best part.
Okay.
Bored now, but she's pretty great. But again, we don't want to jump ahead of that.
No, we don't want to shoot our load yet.
Of the Halloween episode, Adam, what do you think?
I thought I enjoyed it. The concept of actually turning into what you dress, like what your costume is, I thought was pretty fun.
I think of my last few years, and I'm like, oh
yeah. There's some of the random.
I mean, God, what would happen to me?
I was trying to figure out like what some of the people had dressed as, like because it turned them into like an interpretation of the costume, and there was like some girls that had like yellow faces and like so I was a little distracted by that, trying to figure out what some people actually had gone
Yeah.
as
There
What
was a
Halloween.
really nice part, I thought, where Bigfoot was chasing Cordelia across the strip.
Yeah.
I really thought that was good.
Yeah, but it's just a really really fun idea.
Was there any music in this one, Miss Claire?
There was indeed. In this one, we have. Let me read back to my notes. It'll be somewhere. Do you know, I don't think we actually did. If we had, I'd have had it written. No, we didn't. There was no music in that one.
I didn't remember.
Yeah, because
there
we ended
being...
with. Yeah, we ended with Willow walking across the road.
Who is that girl?
Oh no, we have. I've got it. Here we go.
She had some abs, Willow.
How she died by treble charger, and that's as she walks in front of the van at the end, and that's the only music in this one.
Yeah, Willow. That's the first time you see Willow not in her softer side of Sears, as Cordelia calls it.
Yes,
and
in her fuzzy sweaters.
She's kind of a hottie,
She's gorgeous. Yeah, and it's how she died by treble charger, and obviously the links will be in afterwards. But yeah, it's when she walks across the road in front of us, and he does the "Who's that girl?" yet again.
I love it. It's so cute.
Such a great arc.
So, and again, the makeup in this, even with the kids, with the little demons, like
Yeah.
it's really cute. I love.
It had a real old school feel to the makeup on the kids as well, like a sort of 70s kind of Halloween trick or treat look.
So again, I love a good Halloween episode. It makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Anything to follow up, ladies and gentlemen? Anything else we'd like to talk about?
Only just a couple for me of the lines in it. There's one where Xander tells Buffy she's got amnesia, and she says, "I don't know what that is, but I certainly do not. I bathe every day." It's perfect. That's such a funny line.
I bathe every day.
And there was another one with, "Do you have a musket?" I loved it.
I'm going with the boy with the musket.
Yeah,
You have a
so
musket?
good.
And then Angel does change into vampire face in front of scared Buffy, and
Which is brilliant.
She's freaking out, and Cordelia thinks that she's gotten a knock on the head. She still doesn't believe that Angel is a vampire, so it's kind of cute where like she thinks you're a vampire. And again, I can't wait to see more of Spike and Drusilla because they are
Definitely
super fun for me. And yeah, that's about all I got with these 3 episodes.
Yeah, same. I mean, how did you did you like the Halloween then, Adam? Which was your favourite? I think for me, out the 3, and I obviously said it's not her favourite episode, the Halloween one of the Halloweens. But for me, the Halloween one this week is my favourite one.
But I love it. I'm a big fan of anything Halloween, and I just keep, again, I don't want to spoil things, but I keep thinking of like the next couple Halloween episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
And one thing I will spoil because we'll forget again, but when Willow and Oz are dating in a later episode, she dresses as Joan of Arc, and they look at Oz and he's dressed in like a tuxedo. He's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, God. And Joan of Arc had a very special relationship with God, and I thought that was kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some great bits like that.
And next week, we're going to go back to doing 2 episodes for those of you playing the home game. Next week, we're doing Lie to Me and The Dark Age. So episode 7 and episode 8 next week.
Is that when Christy Swanson shows up? I'm really confused.
She does not show up, sadly. Isn't
this
He's winding us up. Ignore him.
I do love I love the movie. I really do.
The original was never a thing for me. It wasn't, as Joss Whedon said, it was never in his vein of how he wanted it to be, that first movie. It was never how he envisioned it. The series was how he envisioned it.
Adorable. And I love when they show Buffy in a fancy dress and she's got her her little boots under there, and you're like, that's a throwback to the movie right there.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know. I love it. I'm so happy you guys are here, and Adam, thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you, Adam, for coming
crazy
on. We
for
really
everybody.
appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Do
Anybody
you want to
wanna
do your
add
links,
anything?
Adam, to your pages and groups? And I'll put them in description also afterwards.
Oh, yes, because we really do want to give a shout out. Adam has a number of Facebook groups that
So,
we should mention, but I think a lot of them, if you see anything of the 50s, 60s, 70s, what is it, just 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s? So we have horror, sci-fi,
we have
tube
horror
meets.
of the 60s to 90s. We have sci-fi
Action
action of the 60s
from,
and 90s.
yeah,
Action movies from the 60s,
Oh,
90s,
actually,
and
from
the
the
tubed
70s.
meats, which is
And
my
tube
personal
tube
favorite.
meats. I
Yeah,
recommend the tube meats.
Actually, you guys talk for 1 second. I want to show you something real quick. So
that's really our flagship. Is the tube
It
meat.
is. I love the tube meats, I'll be honest.
That's our
It's my favourite group. I spend a lot of time looking for really disturbing AI for that for you.
And then recently, of course, is my podcast with
Oh yeah, you've
the
got your new wrestling podcast, yeah.
mini chair shots, which we just had
Yeah,
our,
with the lovely Don Murray.
on our debut episode.
I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to give a big thank you to Jen and Sylvia Saska and my friend Mark Jelinek. They worked out and sent me Kill Crazy Nympho's Attack hardcover signed graphic
Oh,
novel,
nice.
which I will be dipping into this week. So I just want to thank the Saska sisters from the bottom of my heart for being the most amazing people, and for my friend
Brilliant.
Mark for getting this for me as an early birthday present. So thank you to them.
I'll quickly throw in thank you to Nicole Face for my lovely Scream popcorn bucket, which arrived this week.
That's awesome. I love
Bless her.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, this is fun as always. Everybody, we miss you. We love you. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Please like. Please hit the little notification bell. Don't fall off the chair like I almost just did.
And thank you again, Adam, for coming on. We absolutely love you.
Sure. Sorry, I can contribute more. I'll try to become more of a fan, watch more of these, and
I think
No,
you should.
you were
I think it's so
brilliant. You
much
were
fun when we
great.
have.
hopefully have more to say next time we do something.
No,
like
it
that.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, so I will
Great.
take us out for the evening. I
All
will
right.
say
Love
thank you very
all.
much to everyone, and we will see you next week.
Bye, lives.
Bye.
It's my favorite.
Grr. Arr.